This is Toledo Symphony Lab, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of classical music from WGTE Public Media and your Toledo Symphony. I'm Brad Cresswell, and joining me today in the studio are the Toledo Symphony's Director of Marketing, Vanessa Gardner. We also have with us Lisa Meyer-Lang, who is Artistic Director of Toledo Ballet and a Toledo Symphony Lab newbie. Hang on a second, I've actually got a fanfare for you. You can break out into a little dance here.
Oh, wonderful.
That was for you, our newbie, Natalie Frushour. Welcome, Natalie.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today. This is your very first time with Toledo Symphony Lab. I don't know whose idea it was to put you out here. Vanessa's raising her hand. So if anything goes awry, you have Vanessa to blame, right?
Okay.
You have a nickname worked out already, right?
A nickname. Yeah, everybody who comes on the show has to have a nickname.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mine's Doug.
Doug?
Yeah.
I don't know mine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, by the end of the podcast, our goal is to have a nickname for you, Natalie.
Okay. Sounds good. I hope I don't disappoint.
Natalie Frushour, you are Business Manager for the Toledo Ballet and Education. Is that right? For Ballet and Education?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Let me bring up some music here, and let's get Natalie's story.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice. That sounds a little bit familiar. Go ahead and give us a little bit of your background.
Okay. I'm originally from Florida, and I actually just moved to Toledo about 5 years ago. So I've been here for a while, but I was, working at home, had some kids, and I actually used to be a ballet dancer for most of my life.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Ballet dancer. Did you dance the Nutcracker ever? Dance in it?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, many times. Yeah.
Give me your Nutcracker history. Take it back to the very first time you did it.
Okay, I started out as a party girl in the party scene.
No, your Nutcracker history. Let's hear about your dancing.
Not your days in college.
Yes.
Party scene of the Nutcracker. I've done Arabian, Spanish. I was Snow Queen. That was my favorite role, of course.
Wow.
I love snow. Waltz of the Flowers, of course, and I danced with
you did it all.
Yeah, I danced with a few youth ballet companies down in Miami, so that was fun. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, but coming here and working on the other side of the show is actually very fulfilling. I'm not so much a dancer anymore, but it's nice to be able to still be close to it and seeing how hard the girls work in the studio to make the production is really fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it makes the business side of your job easier to do, having had this dance background or having to be able to live in that world of the people you're dealing with every day?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think in any job, really, living it, firsthand experience makes you better able to make decisions and structure, your work around the needs of the nature of what you do.
Absolutely. Well, we're so glad that you could come join us today. I've got a little soundboard here, so you'll get some cheers. You may get buzzed a few times, but it's all, all right. And good sportsmanship here.
Of course.
So, Lisa Meyer-Lang, how's Natalie been doing?
Incredible.
And awesome.
The more I find out about her every day, the more I just might have to grab her and bring her back into the Nutcracker as a dancer. You never know, Natalie.
I wouldn't hate it. I'm not going to lie. I used to love performing.
So, Natalie, if you had to come on stage again and make a cameo appearance in Nutcracker, who would it be as? What part would you choose?
I would actually love to relive my role as the maid in the party scene. I did the maid too.
Kidding? Oh, this is good.
Yeah.
So full circle, sort of coming in.
That would be fun. I think that would be appropriate.
Yes. Well,
no more point shoes.
Never seen it. Yeah, no, definitely not. That's a long time ago for me, anyway.
So now, Vanessa, was last year the first year that you were here when the Nutcracker was happening, because it was virtual last year.
That's right.
As we know.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now there's going to be an audience.
Yep, we're back at the
as well as
Stranahan.
streamed.
Yep.
Yeah. So is that exciting for you to think? This, in a way, this is sort of like your first big, Nutcracker.
Yeah, we're watching tickets fly off the shelves. People are really excited, and we're anticipating full houses this weekend, so it's going to be really fun. We're streaming Saturday evening and Sunday afternoon, so we have both casts that will be live streamed. So it's very exciting.
So Saturday evening at 7 o'clock, Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock p.m., and then there are other performances Friday through Sunday. It's at the Stranahan Theater. Folks can check and see if there's still tickets left right now.
There might be a couple.
Yeah, just a couple. ToledoBallet.com is a good place to look. Also, you can call the box office at 419-246-8000. Lisa, talk a little bit about, we mentioned that it's going to have a live audience again. I mean, did you have to adjust your preparations for welcoming an audience back into the theater? I mean, how is that all working out logistically and for you?
Right. As far as rehearsing and casting and all of the protocols that we're doing, we're pretty much back to 2019 with masks. So that's the difference. We're still rehearsing with masks, and we're hoping that we can get the go-ahead for no masks, at least for our company dancers during the performances. So that we're still working on, but I believe that's going to happen. And pretty much we're back to full cast. Like last year, we went. I did half cast. And we have 2 different casts. So, we're back to the full cast. And that's a big difference, again, because last year was so different. Mm-hmm. But I am so thankful that we're back to a norm, or almost a norm, with my job as, rehearsing them and directing them. So it's really exciting. And the dancers are just so thrilled, of course, to know that they're going to have that live audience again.
Well, I imagine that makes a big difference. Mm-hmm. Well, how long do you spend, putting this show together? When did you have your auditions? When did you start thinking about?
It's a long process, and that is another thing with having Natalie here at the ballet now. She understands that process, because it's hard for people to understand how dancers have to take so many months to prepare for something like the Nutcracker. We actually, because we had a fall show this year, we had auditions a little bit earlier than normal. It was late August, that last week of August. So then we started rehearsing right after our performance in the fall, so mid to late September. But it entails, 4 days a week for these kids after taking their classes and rehearsing for hours each evening, because, especially the corps de ballet pieces, to get everybody in sync and the arms correct and the placement of their bodies and everything it takes so long. That's their instrument. So it's not like pulling out a piece of music and playing it for the weekend. It's literally you're just trying to get everybody in sync, and it's great, and they love it, and it's what they do, and they're just so thrilled that we're going to be back in person this year.
Well, yeah, and I think that people who don't go to the ballet that often don't necessarily realize the amount of work that goes into it, and especially a big show like this that has a lot of moving parts, and you're adding more moving parts now that you're getting back in the theater with an audience. There's a lot that goes into making the magic happen, and we definitely look forward to that. Right. I do have a quiz, and when I was talking with Vanessa about this, she opined that we didn't want to, get too into the Nutcracker ballet world.
That
because
is not true.
because
I just said I have no chance. I mean, I've played.
Well, Merwin's not here, so
yeah, but
we all have a chance now.
You guys are dancers. I merely play in the pit.
Yeah, but you played for a long time.
You play one on the radio. Yeah, so I decided not to do a ballet quiz.
Okay.
This is a Nutcracker quiz, okay?
Well,
so
food now.
Right.
Food is,
I just have a chance.
There's food, but there are also some questions about the actual Nutcracker devices, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little history there, and also questions about nuts and questions about crackers.
Okay.
So,
okay. Glad I like both.
Yeah, it's totally unrelated to anything we're talking about today. Let me pull up a little music here. Okay. It's got a little beat to it. All right. So it's multiple choice, right? So Natalie, you can relax.
Okay.
You don't have to come up with these out of whole cloth. Okay, the earliest known nutcrackers were made of what? Was it iron? Was it stone? Was it bronze? Or was it brass? The earliest known nutcrackers. That should be fairly easy. Natalie, you have a guess?
Sorry, can you repeat the options?
Iron, stone, bronze, or brass?
I'm going to go with iron.
No,
I'm gonna go with stone.
I was going to say stone.
Yeah, stone. Iron dates back to the 13th century in France. Stone goes back to 8,000 years ago across Europe and the U.S.
Was that just a rock and another rock?
Probably.
Basically. It's two rocks.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I said it was pretty easy to figure out. But they can tell that it was a nutcracker because it has like a little depression to hold the nut in it.
Huh.
Right? Yeah. That's
I'm learning
archaeology.
a lot already.
Oh, this is an educational program.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm not going
Archaeology
first on the next one.
podcast.
So I have a better chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's another one. The Nutcracker Museum in Leavenworth, Washington is home to over 7,000 specimens, probably one of the world's largest collection of nut opening devices. The museum has a mascot. What is the mascot of the Nutcracker Museum? Is it Carl, a 6-foot-tall beer-drinking, lederhosen-wearing nutcracker? Is it Kurt, a 10-foot-tall mouse with a crown that will eat anything you put in his mouth, preferably nuts? Or is it Clara, a beautifully ornate wooden carving of the ballet's heroine, all made from one very large piece of wood? Carl, Kurt, or Clara? Which of those three is the mascot of the Nutcracker Museum?
This place sounds fascinating. I want to visit.
I've never heard of this museum.
Me either.
I'm gonna go with Kurt.
Kurt, the 10-foot tall mouse?
Yeah.
Nope, it's not Kurt.
Gotta be Carl, the beer drinking.
Yeah. I would say Carl. Yeah. Yep.
When I heard
It's
Carl,
Carl.
German beer drinking,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Yeah, Lisa, you're cleaning up. Okay. One more question in this round. Again, it has to do with the Leavenworth Nutcracker Museum. That museum was founded by Arlene Wagner, and Arlene Wagner was the very first guest on which comics late-night TV talk show? Was it David Letterman, Jay Leno, or Conan O'Brien? Ooh. She was the first guest.
Oh.
And this is a true story. You can see it online.
It's either Letterman or Leno.
Yeah, I would say Letterman.
Letterman. Leno.
Oh,
Yeah, it was Conan O'Brien.
Okay.
When he went to TBS, he had a contest as to who would be his first guest, and she was one of the options that they put up there as sort of a joke, but she won.
Oh my gosh.
So when she came out as his first guest, she came out waving, the thunderous applause, and she kept walking and evidently walked out of the studio out onto the street waving at people.
Oh, no.
And that was her appearance
That's hilarious.
No idea.
as the first guest. So, yes, educational podcast. We learn something new every time you listen to Toledo Symphony Lab.
Whether it's of value or not.
I
Hey,
appeared
we
on
never
Conan
said
O'Brien,
that.
and I didn't know that.
I mean, this
so.
is going to come up again. I can feel it.
will.
Yeah.
Save it for next year.
We never said that it was of value, the education that we offer. We just offer fun little tidbits, fun little facts. Lisa, tell us more about this production of Nutcracker. I know that I was reading in the description here and, being reminded of the wonderful journey that the character of Clara takes, but you don't call her Clara in this production, do you?
No, we now are, as a tribute to our beloved founder, Marie Bollinger Vogt, we have renamed Clara as Marie. So it still is hard for me, even in rehearsals. Last night, I was still saying Clara. Now it's Clara Marie is what I'm saying. Because I was Clara when I was very young, a long time ago. But, around the world, originally, actually, the character was Marie. So,
really?
And then, Marie Vogt and many other people around the world also have the version of Clara, which is actually the light-hearted version that was changed. There are two different versions. Obviously, the original E.T.A. Hoffman, the story is actually quite dark, but Marie Bollinger Vogt passed away in 2020, and she, is so beloved by Toledoans, the whole region, of course, all of us at the ballet, and those of us that go back so many decades with her, that, it was a nice way to just give a tribute to Marie and her legacy.
Yeah. So does part of her choreography then survive in the current production?
Yeah, actually my favorite parts, imagine that, the Clara dance. They're not the party scene itself, but just the Clara dance in the party scene is Marie's choreography that I did when I was younger. So there was always something very special to that, and I brought it back when I first came back to Toledo.
Yeah.
I just couldn't see anything else in that music, happening, dancing to it. So that and the Ginger Snaps, the Mother Ginger, the Ginger Snaps that come out and dance, that is hers. And then I brought back for our 75th anniversary Suites, which is Marie's choreography.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, two pieces are hers, and then the small portion of the dance in the party scene.
So when you work with dancers year to year, and you have these little bits and pieces of choreography that kind of remains, as you go along, do you have students that know this stuff, or that they've done it before, and then you're bringing it back?
Yes, they do. I mean, well, the thing with the Nutcracker, and I remember this very clearly myself when I was little, is that it was so awesome to be able to see, like, every year you just get better and better, and you have those pieces, that choreography that you're like, I'm going to do someday, I always wanted to be a flute. I never got to be a flute because Marie had tall girls doing flute. Mm-hmm. So that is one thing that I didn't get to do, but it's a rite of passage for these kids. And when I do change things or change choreography, I mean, they like it, but there are a lot of them that, they know the choreography. They've been learning it for 5-10 years,
mm-hmm.
And they finally get to do it. And so to change it is not always welcome, because they love that. They just love, passing that.
Well, you're in charge now, so you can be the flute if you want.
I can be, yeah. I don't think the audience would want to see that.
You jump in there. I mean, we have modern technology. Put some lifts on you, and
I'm just not putting point shoes on ever again.
You don't have to.
No.
You don't want to.
It's a trade-off, I guess. A trade-off. Vanessa, what's your wish list for if let's say if you were a ballet dancer and you could do this production, who would you like to do?
This cues the anxiety dreams. Because I've played the Nutcracker so many times, and around this time of year I start to have dreams that instead of going into the pit, I have to go dance on stage. Like I know it. And
so which role do you have to do when you step up there?
Either a flower or Sugar Plum Fairy, and it just terrifies me because, when I would play with Boston Ballet, we had this like funny thing where we would always try to guess who the Sugar Plum Fairy was any given night by how fast the finale was, because certain dancers would just whip out these fouettes at the end, and so then I'm just it gave me heart palpitations to just think about it. So. Thanks a lot for triggering that.
Definitely
have a great night's sleep tonight.
But I do love the Nutcracker. I'm one of those musicians that just never tires of it. I can play it 55 times and for many months of December have, and it just never gets old. I love Nutcracker.
Yeah.
It never gets old until January 1st.
Yes.
And then I'm good till next October.
It's like all the Christmas music.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you have a little time off. So we don't expect you we don't expect to see you on stage anytime soon, I guess is
Nope.
what you're saying.
That's
at
a
least
no.
as a dancer.
No.
Yeah.
It's funny because dancers have the opposite dream. They take joy in dreaming about that prized role that they always look up to, you know, Sugar Plum. They'd be glad to step up there.
I thought you were saying that the dancer has a dream where they
go
woke
into the
up
pit.
and they
not that opposite.
they have to play the French horn. They're like,
No.
how do I even work this thing?
Then they'll know really how long Waltz of the Flowers is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
That would be a nightmare, yeah. Yes.
Well, there's a great French horn part, as we know, in the Waltz of the Flowers.
Yes, my granddad used to call it Waltz of the Fairies.
Oh,
Bless.
that's sweet.
R.I.P.
There we go.
It's way
Lovely
too
French
slow.
horns. Is it? It's too slow?
I don't know.
For
It
dancers,
is,
right?
yes.
Pretty slow.
Really?
Oh,
Now, this is
yeah.
interesting because, you
Can't be
know,
too fast.
it's thought of in terms of like concert music that you would play without ballet
Right,
dancers, and then it changes, obviously.
Oh, very much.
You have to deal with the tempo of the dancers as well.
Very much.
Yep.
So this is too slow. I can't really speed it up at this point.
That's
but,
all right.
But how slow are we talking?
Pretty close. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
No, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
So what kind of what are the now? Are there really waltzing flowers? Is that what
They
they're
are
doing?
waltzing, and waltzing can't be too fast. You know, you want the petit allegro and all of those type of things to be fast, but anything grand,
Right.
grand adagio, grand allegro, you know, it has to be. It just can't be too fast.
Yeah, you're already above my pay grade with all this ballet speak, all this going
Petit
on.
allegro
means
fast.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in order to
Yes.
get your leg grandly high in the
Right.
air, you need time to get it
Or
there.
jumping. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Snow scene is one of those too.
See,
Yeah.
yeah.
Another one of those things that always drove me crazy in concert recordings of, say, something like Russian, is that the orchestra in concert recordings just, you know, plows through to the end. And it's physically impossible for the man who's dancing that role to do what he needs to do without a retardando at the end. So
Yeah, but it's fun to see him spin out of control crying, though, right?
no.
There's, you know, there's a little bit of a
This is how injuries happen.
matador.
Yeah, exactly,
kidding, right?
exactly. That's why it can't be too fast.
Well, speaking of injuries, let's do the next part of our quiz. Okay,
All right.
and here we can
Injuries.
leave
I
this
thought it was
music
nuts
on.
and crackers.
That's fine. So this is the nuts part of our quiz. Okay. The world's oldest tree food. This is the world's oldest example of tree food. Was it pecans? Was it walnuts or macadamia nuts? Pecan, walnut, or macadamia? You get a 1 out of 3 chance here. What do you say, Natalie?
Walnut.
Wow, you're cleaning up.
Yes.
Walnuts were discovered in Iraq back in 50,000 BC. Macadamia nuts, actually, they happened in Australia. Yeah, I was trying to read this here. The macadamia nut, we think of it as being Hawaiian, but it was actually invented in Australia.
Invented?
Discovered.
Discovered, invented, you know, we can, hey, I'm in charge. I can say that if I want.
Fair enough.
It was brought to Hawaii in the late 19th century, where much of the world's supply is grown today. Okay. See, I'm fitting that educational podcast move here.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. This is the only nut that contains vitamin C. The only nut that contains vitamin C. Is it chestnut, walnut, or pistachio nut? Which one of those three? Anybody got a
I'm
clue?
going to say
Pistachio.
pistachio.
Not pistachio. Walnut or chestnut?
Chestnut.
Totally.
Okay, she's got the nuts down.
Chestnuts.
I didn't know that, but I would guess.
Chestnuts, if you want to get your vitamin C from nuts, you got to go with chestnuts,
Okay.
right?
It's the only nut you said with vitamin C.
It's
in
the
it?
only nut that has vitamin C in it, yeah.
Noted.
Yeah.
Chestnuts have a very, very different texture than most nuts. Very soft.
Yeah, you think
fleshy.
of like roasting on
It's
an
like a
open
date.
fire, right?
Yeah, it's honestly has a very similar texture to a date.
Yeah. I can't believe that you're actually making me hungry for chestnuts.
The open
We
fire
didn't
sounds
see
good.
that coming.
It's close to lunchtime.
Yeah. It's getting there. Okay, last question for this part of the quiz. How many cities in the United States are actually named Peanut? Right?
What?
There are multiple cities in the United States that carry the name of Peanut.
Like Peanutville?
No, just Peanut.
Just Peanut.
Oh.
I mean, there is an Upper Peanut and a Lower Peanut, but...
Oh, right, but the
Peanut,
city, yeah. Okay.
So are there 6 of them? Are there 41 of them? Or are there 88 of them?
41.
I would say. Right in the middle.
6.
Oh, Vanessa.
Vanessa got
You said
it.
in the world.
No,
Yes?
in the United
in
States.
the United States. Jeez.
Oh, well, that explains it. No, there's Peanut, California. There's Lower Peanut and Upper Peanut, both in Pennsylvania. There's Peanut, Pennsylvania. I guess peanuts are really popular in Pennsylvania. Must be the alliteration. There's a Peanut, Tennessee, and a Peanut, West Virginia. Okay, so that should be 6.
Huh.
Now, there are 41 Springfields, right? We know that Springfield is a popular name.
Yeah.
Can you guess what name goes with 88 cities in the United States? It's also the name of our capital city. Washington. Yes, there are 88 different Washingtons.
I know there's a Pekin, Illinois, and it's pronounced pecan, not pecan, not pecan.
Yeah, that's not on the quiz.
Extra credit?
Extra credit. I'll give you extra credit if you can name the 3rd most popular name for cities in the United States. It's also another founding father. There are 35 of them.
Jackson?
No, but it's also alliterative to founding father. So it starts with an F.
Franklin.
Yep.
Nice.
Good one.
There are 35 Franklins in cities in the United States. Okay, I've got another round of the quiz, but let's talk a little bit more. Before we do that, and let me pull up this music, and you tell me what it is.
Ah.
Yeah, that's Mother Ginger and her little clown children.
Ginger snaps.
Clown children.
Ginger snaps,
Ginger
whatever they are.
Yeah, ginger snaps is nicer.
I've heard it described
You
different
make it
ways.
sound even creepier than it already is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Well,
it's funny because growing up performing the Nutcracker and just being familiar with it as a young child, you don't even look at it as like a creepy kind of scene of what it actually is. It's just normal. Which is
my
even
first part of
kind
the
of more
Nutcracker was
something.
as a ginger snap.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, some of the youngest of
why I
our
brought
cast
that back.
members because
Yep.
they have to be small to fit under
Exactly.
the.
Well, explain what the
dress.
Mother Ginger scene is for anybody who hasn't seen it, and try to make it sound as non-horror film as possible, right?
I'll let you take this one.
Make it sound as innocent and childlike as we can,
Okay, so...
because it is kind of creepy. It depends on how you do it.
Mother
yeah.
Ginger is actually a man usually dressed as a female, and...
Well, that's not creepy.
Not at all.
No.
No. But, so, she's up on this big platform, and magically, all of a sudden, a bunch of little ginger snaps appear from under her skirt.
Okay, that could be
out and
creepy.
dance. It's
Now
creepy.
we're on the path to
yeah.
Right. Yeah, and her
Creepy
skirt
hood.
is very tent-like, circus tent-like, which
But
I
it's-
guess is where the...
Yeah, but it's adorable. Of course it's adorable. It's not creepy at all, guys.
So
I know.
it's actually inspired by a tin of candies that was sold in Russia in the 1890s. And it was formed in the shape of a woman wearing a large skirt, and then the tin opened and all of these bonbons were inside. So that's
I
kind
get
of
it.
how that
Okay, I
came
take
to
back
be.
all the
Yeah.
creepy remarks.
Yeah.
Not creepy at all. Very innocent. It's just
Educational.
a bunch of bonbons that come out in the land of sweets.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's continuing that theme.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you get a prominent member of the community to come in and guest star as Mother Ginger. You make them up. They put on the dress or on the great big the platform or what have you.
Yeah.
You've had, I know Zach Vassar has done it. Zach from our show and
Yep.
also from Toledo Symphony. And you've had the mayor, Wade Kapsakevich, has done it. Other people have done it.
Michael Lang
My
has done
husband,
it.
And Michael Lang,
Lang.
yeah. Michael has done it. And I assume he doesn't wear that outfit, that get up outside
grocery
the
store.
theater.
Right.
I'll
Right.
take the fifth.
Okay.
No,
Just the
definitely
makeup.
not. Just the makeup.
I'll take the makeup. You keep
We
the
had Dick Anderson, right? When
Yep.
Dick
Dick Anderson did it in
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah.
And you've just recently announced who's doing it this year, and you've got a slate of impressive names here. You want to talk a little bit about this?
Absolutely, yes. So let's see if I can go in order of the shows. So, we do a school production on Friday mornings at 11, and we're really excited about this Mother Ginger because it's someone who's been working with us for a long time behind the scenes, taking all the photographs of the dancers and the musicians. So Robert Kumaro we're fulfilling a lifelong dream of his to be a part of the Nutcracker production. So he is just very, very excited. And then Friday night we have Thomas Winston, who is the president and CEO of the Toledo Lucas County Port Authority, as our Mother Ginger. So that is very exciting. We're honored to have him. And then Saturday afternoon we have the CEO of the Toledo Museum of Art, Adam Levine. So it's just really going to be fun. We have a great partnership with the art museum. So
has Adam done it before? I was thinking he would.
I don't think so.
Wow.
Not since I've been here, but isn't he new to I think he's new to town.
He was here
and
then came back.
He went away and came
so
back.
He's new in his role here, and so that's exciting. And then Alex Gherkin is the president and senior banker for Fifth Third Bank. He will be our Mother Ginger for 7 p.m. on Saturday, and Fifth Third Bank is also our presenting sponsor for the Nutcracker this year. So we're very delighted that he was able to be Mother Ginger that evening. And then last but not least, on Sunday afternoon, we have Steve Kavanaugh, who is the Chief Financial Officer of ProMedica. And he serves on our board as well as a number of other community organizations. And so he's delighted. We're all delighted. It's going to be really, really fun to have all these Mother Gingers back with us.
So to be a Mother Ginger, I mean, do you have to pass like a test? I mean, what are the qualifications for gingerhood here?
Well, Judy, our production manager, would say there's very specific requirements in terms of height and build, because the costume
you have to fit the costume,
what
right?
it is.
Yeah.
So I think.
But you've had some very different physiques. I'm thinking of Mayor Wade compared to
Zach.
Somebody like Zach. That's a big difference there.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, they just can't be too tall. I had asked somebody a few years back, and I didn't realize at that time that somebody that was like 6'5" couldn't actually be up there.
Oh, too bad for you, Brad.
Yeah, because they're up on a platform.
Now, what do you do when you have to rescind an invitation to be Mother Ginger? You're like, sorry, not sorry?
Yeah, I felt terrible. But
send him a cheesecake or something.
Our customer, she said, Lisa, that's not going to work. It's not safe. So I felt terrible.
It's not safe. Now I would have second thoughts about being a Mother Ginger.
No. It's very safe. Everybody, relax.
You can't be 6'5".
Our Mother Ginger is on a platform, but some Mother Gingers are on actual stilts. Mm-hmm. So they have to be careful not to,
trip.
Step on the ginger.
Step on the littles underneath their skirt.
Yeah. So that's more dangerous. This is not dangerous. You just can't be too tall.
That sounds potentially terrifying. but your Mother Ginger's not on stilts.
No,
so.
They're on a platform. No.
Yeah, there's no snap aside going on. Right? Okay.
No.
Well, that's interesting. When you work with these Mother Gingers, I mean, the choreography is set, right? It's what they have been doing for some time.
We give them parameters of, they have a mirror, they have their powder puff, and basically, you have to work with the props, and you have to wave to the ginger snaps that come out. And, it can be campy, it should be campy, and, there should be definitely a lot of personality involved in that. So, everybody's a little bit different. But that's basically what we give them, and then, they just can't move too much. I remember one in particular doing a lot of dance moves up there, and he was fantastic. But it's like, okay,
dance moves
too
like
much up there.
Yeah.
Like they were busting a move
busting a move up there, absolutely. Yeah, and that's good, but you just can't get too crazy physical with it. But those are the parameters that we give them. Just a lot of personality.
Yeah,
be crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure these guys.
How do you bust a move to this music, right?
You'd be surprised.
I see you dancing in your chair. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, but that's kind of like the Cossack, dance where they put their legs up in the air kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's as close as I get to official ballet speak. Right? But like this kind of thing. A little bit.
So that feels very fast to me. Is that fast?
Oh yeah.
That's
Are you
pretty
going to
good.
criticize the
That's pretty
tempo
good.
of all my music selections? Is that what's going on
It
here?
kind of depends on the group of girls you have, right?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
this is pretty good. You want it to be this is pretty up.
Oh,
There
right,
is
because we
jumping,
have
but-
this is candy canes for
Yeah.
us. I'm used to it being
Yeah.
3 Russian
Yeah.
right
guys.
Right.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
Yeah. So okay, that makes sense.
Lisa, I just I want to like try to give a little bit of a backstage glimpse of what goes into making the ballet happen, what goes into creating the Nutcracker and bringing it to the stage. Can you describe what like a typical day is for you and for the dancers, like in the final week, in the final preparation, getting ready to put it on this weekend? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, well, Tech Week is always, our busiest week, and before this week, it's evening rehearsals after classes. So the dancers are there from right after school through at least 9 o'clock at night, 3 nights a week, and then 2 days on the weekend, long days. But this week is the week that we are in the theater, and that in itself is so exciting. But again, it's right after school, and we go through until 9:30 or 10 in the evening. And you've got all of the pieces come together. So the dressers, the techies, making sure everything is going, with fly rail and all of the other things that have to be happening. So it's all of the pieces coming together and just making magic happen. We all do our separate things before this week, especially the dancers. We're rehearsing the steps and everything for so long, for so many months ahead. And then we get to this week, and it's the culmination of like what we've been doing for the last few months, and there's nothing like that. But the whole team just comes together to make the magic happen, and that's where it's really exciting for all of us.
I just want to remind folks, we've talked about this a little bit in the past in other episodes of Symphony Lab, but this production of Nutcracker is really the longest consecutive Nutcracker that's been on display in the United States. I mean, when you think about it, it's amazing that this has been going for 81 years now.
81st annual Nutcracker.
How did it all come about in the first place?
Well, Marie Vogt, as a young, actually, when she founded the Toledo Ballet School, it was 1939. She was still in high school.
Wow.
And the visionary that she is, she had known about the score of the Nutcracker and the Nutcracker being performed in other countries, and it hadn't been performed here. And in 1941, 2 years after she opened the ballet, she was able to secure a few of the pieces that she got out of Russia because they weren't releasing the entire score. And she just started that way in 1941, the first in the United States that we know of. But we are the longest consecutive running Nutcracker in the country. And so from 1941 through today, I mean, you just think about her getting those few pieces of music in the beginning and then making it into the entire Nutcracker that it is, the full-length version now. And so that's pretty awesome for Toledoans, and I think I know we're all in this community extremely proud of that fact.
Yeah, and tremendous
and that's why
legacy.
It was so important for us to continue to stage it last year. We didn't want
Right.
to ruin that streak.
Yeah.
Right, so we still are, whereas most companies last year did not perform the Nutcracker. So, that was my gift to Marie after she passed away. I knew that she would have done the same, or at least, tried to as hard as she could. And so now we still have that longest record, and now in our 81st.
That's wonderful. Well, folks can see it either in person or they can watch it online if they want. The performances are December 10th through the 12th at the Stranahan Theater. There's evening performances as well as afternoon performances on the weekend. You could find more information at toledoballet.com or 419-246-8000. I want to finish up today with the final installment of our quiz. This is the part that has crackers in it. We heard from nuts, right? And now equal time for crackers. And then we'll finish it up with a Nutcracker quiz and sort of tie it all together. Now, what music should we play for this? Let's find something a little better here. Yeah, we haven't played this yet. That's the very first music, right? The opening.
Would you like to know my opinion on the tempo? No. I'm kidding.
Totally. Well, I noticed, it was very subtle that Natalie and Lisa were bobbing their heads to the music, and you could see them thinking, well, this tempo is, So what do you say? Too fast, too slow?
Well, this is for the opening. People are coming into the party scene for the Christmas
So it doesn't
party.
really matter.
So you can, adjust it however, but it's really mostly acting at this point. But.
Yes, and I was not thinking actually tempo at all. I was thinking steps and what is about to come. Yes.
Me too.
You were reliving it in your
I
your
was
head.
a little bit.
That's good.
I can't
Sugar
help
plums.
it. It's like automatic.
Dancing in their heads. Okay, back to business. All right. The first cracker, not the first Nutcracker, but the first cracker was made in 1792. And who made it? Was it a gentleman named John Pearson? Was it R.J.R. Nabisco? Or was it John Harvey Kellogg? A, B, or C?
Nabisco?
I was going to guess that too. Kellogg? What do you say, Vanessa?
That's the guy nobody's heard from. You can't even remember his name, can you?
Yeah.
John Pearson.
Pearson.
John Pearson, who decided that he needed to create something that sailors could eat on the sea, so he took flour and water and just mixed it together and baked it. That was his flash of
Is that
inspiration.
to help with their upset tummies while being at sea?
It's just so it would last.
Oh.
So, they needed food that would, be
And
semi...
that too,
They
Vanessa.
can't make bread on the boat because they'd burn the boat down.
Yeah,
That would be bad at to see.
exactly. It was called Pearson's Pilot Bread, right? Or sea biscuits. They called them sea biscuits also.
Biscuits.
Yeah, that's something different. Okay. All right, second question. Where did the name crackers come from? Was it because of their tendency to crumble? Was it because of the noise they made while you were baking them? Or was it because the ease with which you could break off perforated pieces? A, B, or C?
I'm going to go with C.
C, the perforated pieces?
Yes.
No, made that up. Okay. Their tendency to crumble or the noise they made while baking?
I'm going to go with the noise they made while baking.
Yeah.
Never made crackers before.
Nope.
Evidently,
either.
somebody was trying to make sea biscuits or whatever, and they burned them. They burned them, and they crackled. And they went ahead and tried them anyway, and they were like, hey, these are pretty good. So because of the noise they made, they called them crackers. To try to differentiate, from all the other products that were out there. I got to bring in some more music. Let's see. There we go. Who is known as the father of the Nutcracker? Was it Wilhelm Feuchtner? Was it Franz Anton Ketterer? Or was it Friedrich Wilhelm Herschel? A, B, or C?
Can you repeat those?
Who is known as the father of the Nutcracker? Was it Wilhelm Feuchtner? F-U-C-H-T-N-E-R. Feuchtner. Was it Franz Anton Ketterer? Or was it Friedrich Wilhelm Herschel? You're saying A?
A.
Oh no, I'm sorry, that's
C.
right. It was A.
Yeah, I was going to say, I knew it was Wilhelm.
Wilhelm Feuchtner. Yeah, he made the first commercial production of Nutcrackers. I got it mixed up with Wilhelm Herschel, who actually discovered Uranus, discovered the planet Uranus, and Franz Ketterer invented the cuckoo clock, or at least he was attributed with the invention of the cuckoo clock, but now they don't think that he actually invented it. See, going down that road of education.
A fun non-fact for
Right.
Yes.
your Wednesday afternoon.
We all remember who was the father of Nutcracker? Wilhelm Feuchtner. Okay. Whoops, I keep hitting that wrong one.
No, I got that right.
Who won the quiz? Yeah, well, let's see. Nobody got the first one, and this one. Vanessa got one, and then Natalie and Lisa both got that last one. And so I've got 1, 2, 3 for Lisa, 1, 2, 3 for Natalie, and 1, 2, 3 for Vanessa. Wow.
Girl
We're
power.
looking at a complete three-way tie there.
That's
Great
it.
job.
Teamwork.
Well, that's wonderful. So the Nutcracker is happening both for a live in-person audience as well as a streaming audience. That's at the Stranahan Theater this weekend, December 10th through 12th. You can find more information about all of these performances by going online to toledoballet.com or 419-246-8000. And this will be streamed on the stream.artstoledo.com website. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, Tappa streaming as well. This program is a production of WGTE Public Media in collaboration with our sponsor, the Toledo Symphony, with generous support from the Rita Barber Kern Foundation. You can download episodes of our show as a podcast by going to our website. That's at wgte.org/lab. You can also subscribe to us through your podcast app of choice, including Apple and Google Podcasts. Don't forget to check out all the upcoming events at the Symphony by visiting their website at toledosymphony.com and their various social media outlets on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can find the TSO's streaming platform online at stream.artstoledo.com. My thanks to Vanessa Gardner, Lisa Meyer-Lang, and Natalie Frushour. I'm Brad Cresswell. You've been listening to Toledo Symphony Lab from FM 91.